My name is Caroline Davis. I am the Sandy Springs Economic Development Manager. And our department helps with location services for businesses that need to relocate or expand their footprint in the city of Sandy Springs, connect businesses to workforce development programs, upskilling, training options, and connecting people to business counseling, mentoring, resources, and of course, access to capital. So that is today's topic, and really excited to bring you this program today with some fantastic speakers who are very knowledgeable in this industry. And what the Know and Grow program is really bringing subject matter experts to our business community and allowing you guys to get this information in a convenient location. And we will absolutely share these slides with everyone after today concludes. And we will also share just a quick survey if you guys can take that survey afterwards and provide us some feedback. And we are always open for ideas that people might have for future topics. So just a couple of housekeeping items. If you have any questions as we go throughout today's program, please put those in the Q&A. There's no chat feature in this webinar, but we will utilize the Q&A. We will try to hold all questions until the end of all of the presenters, so at the end of the webinar. But if there are any immediate questions that need to be clarified in the moment, we can take those at that time. So I will try to advance this slide. And we'll get started, and I'll introduce our speakers for today. We have Janelle Taylor with the U.S. Small Business Administration. He is one of our regional representatives, so he is local in Atlanta. And you may have seen him on our first webinar 2 months ago on business counseling and mentoring resources. And then we have Maria Lawson with Signature Bank of Georgia. I can see their building out my window. But they've been a long-time Sandy Springs institution, and they work with a lot of SBA loans. So she can really kind of give context to what it's like to process through an SBA loan. And Maria Merton with the Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, or ACE for short. They also process SBA loans and have some other programs and resources as well. So I will hand it over to Janelle to get started.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you'll learn a few tidbits from the SBA and how the SBA loan programs work and how we navigate and why, the programs are set up like they're set up. As Caroline stated earlier, my name is Janelle Taylor, and I'm one of the economic development specialists here in our office. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Next slide. What I always like to do is really start with the SBA's mission statement, because all the things that I'm going to be talking about are really aligned with this mission statement. And as you see, it's pretty direct and straightforward. The SBA being the Small Business Administration, and not an association, being an actual arm of federal government, these are pretty much, our marching orders. So everything that the SBA does is going to be in line with this particular mission statement. And as you see, helping maintain the U.S. economy by helping new and existing small businesses grow and create jobs. Now, if you read into that, you will see that the SBA is really a job creation function of government, because at the end of the day, that's really our mission, is to help new and existing businesses grow and create jobs. Next slide. So the SBA has multiple funding programs, and I'm going to be talking about the most popular ones today. But if you want a full list of all of the various loan programs that the SBA offers, the sba.gov/funding programs/loans is a good place to get started. Next slide. There we go. So everything that the SBA does is going to fall in one of these four buckets. Contracting. Now, the SBA only provides federal level contracting assistance and certifications. Now, that term government contracting is used pretty loosely because most beginners or early stage businesses don't understand that government contracting really starts at the local level, at the city, then the county, then the state, then the federal government, which is like the pro level. So by the time you really want to go after federal contracts, you're going to be expected to have some level of contracted experience on some of those other levels. And that's the way that it's set up. So everything that we do from the SBA standpoint is strictly for federal contracting. Counseling, that's a wide range. What we're doing now as far as outreach, that's considered counseling, but also we do field general questions about business, but we also, for the existing business owners, to excel to the next level, not only do we have multiple educational, not only videos, but people in place and partnerships to help you scale over whatever wall that your business has reached. So we're able to connect you with, some proper counseling as well. Capital, that's why we're here. We're going to be talking about, like I said, the most popular SBA counseling tools that we have, and also disaster assistance. Prior to COVID-19, disaster assistance was pretty restricted to natural disasters like hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, fires, and that's the only time the SBA did any direct assistance or direct lending. Otherwise, the SBA, we lend heavily on our resource partners or the banking community by providing multiple types of loans and even loan guarantees that I'm going to get into. Next slide. So the 7A loan guarantee, 504, the micro, and the community advantage loan are the four, like I said, most popular loans that we're going to have that you can actually acquire. And I'm going to go and talk about each one of these. Next slide. Now, I kind of alluded to and stated earlier, that the SBA doesn't do any direct lending. Not anymore. I know back 30, 40 years ago, from what I understand, the SBA used to do direct lending. Now, the only time the SBA does any direct lending is in the event of a natural disaster. And we actually have a full team in the disaster assistance office that actually manages that program. So when COVID-19 hit, it was deemed a natural disaster. So that one department got hit with a lot of work, as you can imagine. And but it took all of us to jump in and assist. Next slide. So the guarantee process is really a lot like an insurance policy to the bank, which pretty much lowers the bank's risk in the event that the loan defaults. So the term guarantee, that's what I wanted to explain, because it's not, that everyone's guaranteed to get an approval. It's just actually an assurance to the bank. And the guarantees can range from 50 to 90%. The 90% side really applies to if you get involved with exporting. That's going to be the only way that you're going to get a 90% guarantee on the loan, because obviously exporting is at a higher risk. But these guarantees that the SBA provides across the United States really helps companies who don't have that collateral or the substance enough to get approved on their own. The lender will request an SBA loan guarantee, and then we'll reply back to the lender on what their percentage is going to look like. Next slide. So the SBA, we are designed to be for-profit assistance, pretty much for-profit assistance only. I know through COVID, when the COVID, the services were made available to nonprofits. Just imagining doubling your audience overnight just with that one stroke of a pen, and that's what happened. And that's when the SBA services actually got open to nonprofits. But now that all those services, the COVID-19 relief options are all off the table, now we're back to doing business as usual. So everything that we do is for profit. You think about that mission statement, growing the US economy by helping new and existing businesses grow and create jobs. That's in line with the SBA's mission. Now, pretty much 90% of businesses in the United States could be considered to be small businesses. So that's a wide range, but there's not one size standard for all industries. So what you have to do is find out what your NAICS codes are, your North American Identification Classification Code, that 6-digit code in your industry that describes what you do. And then that's how you can find what your particular size standard is. Next slide. So generally speaking, the SBA is always going to require some skin in the game. So, and that's usually between 10 and 30%, depending on all of the factors of the business plan, the credit scores, all the 5 C's, that the banks or the lenders have to think about before they can actually make an approval. Now, every owner of the business may have to provide a personal guarantee. So if you got 20% ownership in the company, you may be required to provide a personal guarantee, which is pretty much, say if you may have put another lien on the home, the boat, or so other assets that may be required depending on the amount of funding that you're going after. Next slide. So what can you not use SBA funds for? As I stated earlier, we're strictly for-profit services. So nonprofits obviously is something that we can't provide services to. Businesses engaged in lending activities. So you can't open up a check cashing place. You can't establish a new lottery. You can't become a loan shark, anything like that with SBA funds. Speculative or investment types of business. That means you can't borrow money from the SBA to build a spec building and then find a tenant to occupy that and then just collect rents for, forever. That's considered to be a commercial deal in the private sector. So, and that's one of the things that you can't use SBA funds for. Now, businesses engaged in gambling, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can't establish a casino with SBA funds. You also can't use SBA funds for sexual material. So be it, you can't be the next Playboy, can't build the next Playboy mansion and magazines and so on and so on. And the same thing goes for religion. So you can't build a church with SBA funds. And that last bullet point that says illegal federally businesses, which really speaks to marijuana. So you can't use SBA funds to establish, a cannabis operation because marijuana is still considered to be illegal federally, even though it's a state by state recreational use, it's still illegal federally. Excuse me, next slide. So what can you use SBA funds for? Obviously, just about anything else other than that naughty list, so to speak. Obviously, expansion, renovating, machinery, equipment, and it's your lender's responsibility to actually put you in the best position to actually repay the loan. So there may be some refinancing of your existing debt just to make it all make sense for you. Obviously, you can purchase a business. It's quite often the SBA funds are used to acquire franchises, but you have to make sure that the franchise that you're looking to purchase, that is on the SBA's franchise list, because it has to be on that SBA approved franchise list in order to be considered. Just a little insight there. But you can actually build a building if you're going to occupy that space as all part of the deal. And as you see those two bullet points at the bottom, hospitality, RV park, self-storages are okay, uses of proceeds, but you can't build an apartment complex, you can't build a mobile home park or a shopping center, because once again, that's deemed as a private sector commercial deal. Next slide. So the 7(a) guarantee goes up to $5 million. And as I stated earlier, that guarantee is to the lender. Very flexible. You know, most lenders lean towards making larger loans, you know, above the 300,000 mark, but there's other SBA loan products that we have for the smaller loan amounts. And when you see that bullet point at the bottom that says expedited or express programs, those happen when you have an established relationship with your lender and the SBA. Then, if you need additional funds, they may be able to expedite the loan process for you because you already have an existing loan with the SBA and your lender. Now, the Veterans Advantage, this is the only program that we have for the veterans. It is a 50% guarantee up to $350,000. And that's a particular type of loan. And that may or may not be the best option for your business, just as an FYI. Next slide. So the 504, the only lender that can provide you this program is going to be what we call a Certified Development Company, a CDC. That's the only entity that can actually administer a 504. Now, the 504 is done very creatively by spreading the risk of the loan throughout three parties. Now, from the middle bullet there, it talks about how much of the space has to be occupied. If it's an existing structure, it's 51%, 66% if it's a new construction. That actually matters, which means that you can sublet the other remaining space if need be. Now, the 50-40-10 model, actually, you can go to the next slide. It really talks about that. The lender provides 50% of the loan. The CDC is going to provide 40% of the loan, which means that the entrepreneur only has to come to the table with 10% of the loan. So now you can see why it's pretty popular. So say you have $1 million deal, the entrepreneur, the entrepreneur only has to bring 10,000 to the, 100,000 to the table. Next slide. The Community Advantage Loan Program. This one goes up to 250,000, and we actually have someone, one of the panelists today is going to be speaking about this particularly. And as you can see, ACE, Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, is one of our leading partners in this effort, the 6 community advantage lenders that we have. And what this program is designed to do is actually help bring needed dollars to communities that need more investment. So you have to show whatever product or service that you bring into the table is going to be a benefit to the community at the end of the day. Next slide. So this is kind of like the details, which says, 60% of the community advantage funds must go to the underserved market or to the exact area that you're looking to grow the business or establish the business. But you also have a 50% workforce requirement that has to be from that community as well. And it's based on census tracts. So empowerment zones, hub zones, all those are things that really help you get approved as a underserved market. because the hub zone is the historically underutilized business zones, all census tract based. Next slide. Drink some water here. The microloans. Now, the microloans are obviously one of our most popular because this is the loans that we have that goes up to 50,000. The majority of people, when they start a business, don't necessarily need an exorbitant amount of, of an equity injection. And as you see, 10, 12 to 15,000 is the average in regards to the loan amount that most are coming to the table to request. And the bar is lowered a little bit, where it's not as stringent to get approved as it would be if you went to a bank. I believe 2 of the 4 micro lenders that we have only require that you have a 550 credit score. But all of the loan programs from the SBA is going to require that you have a business plan. But as you can see, it can be used for a variety of things: machinery, inventory, and working capital. Next slide. So how do you get prepared for financing? We work very close with SCORE and the Small Business Development Center, the SBDCs. I highly recommend that you reach out to them to help you prepare to reach out for financing, because as they say, you never get a chance to make a first impression, another chance. Next slide. As I stated earlier, the COVID-19 and those products are pretty much exhausted, but we always hear, talks and developments of what may come down the pike, but this is where you can go to find out what's available. Now, I also recommend that you guys reach out to your local municipalities, your city and your county, because they may still have some COVID-19 relief funds. Many of them are developing loan programs and grant programs that you may be able to qualify for. Just FYI. Next slide. That is it. That is my name. That is my email address. So if any of you guys had any questions for me directly, or particularly, emailing me is the best way to do it. Janelle.taylor@sba.gov. And you can also visit the Georgia District Office website, which has a lot of different, obviously, information and a calendar of events in regards to how all of our seminars rotate and when they're offered. So that concludes my portion of this presentation. I hope I was able to shed some light on a few things.
Janelle, thank you so much for sharing that information. I think that's absolutely helpful for people who aren't aware of all that the SBA does. So giving a little bit of color to the 4 kind of pillars that you guys have, and absolutely sets our next 2 speakers up for what they're going to talk about. So Maria Lawson is going to come on from the Signature Bank of Georgia. Again, they are located in Sandy Springs. I'm sure many of you pass their building every single day. So I will transition to Maria's slides and let her start talking and share that info. Thanks, Maria, and thanks, Nell.
Good morning. Thank you, Caroline, for allowing Signature Bank to be a part of the Sandy Springs Know and Grow Access to Capital series. My name again is Maria Lawson, and I'm the Managing Director of Government Guaranteed Lending here at Signature Bank. I've been doing SBA lending now for over 20 years, and I love it. I've served at many roundtables with the Atlanta chapter of SCORE, which, as Janelle mentioned, great resource if you're looking to get an SBA loan or look into SBA lending. And with many SBDC centers, in particular the Kennesaw State University. I've been able through this long period of time doing SBA lending. I've obtained several certifications through SBA, Capstone Institute, NAGLE, and Atlanta Bankers Association. And next, if you want to, next slide and go ahead and skip to the next one. So Signature, Nope, one back. Thank you. So Signature Bank is a SBA lending resource. It's a lending source. As we understand how important small businesses are in our U.S. economy and what great role SBA plays in that. So just to tell you a little bit about our bank, we're the only locally owned and operated community bank in Sandy Springs. We are a direct SBA lender, and we are an SBA preferred provider for the last 15 years plus. During the COVID, we did 24 million in PPP loans to serve our small business owners. And we're here dedicated to a distinctively different client experience, just because we are a small business, just like the customers that we serve. And we are a trusted partner, business partner. We're counseling and educating our customers, and we're an advocate for small business. So thank you, Janelle, for doing all the heavy lifting and doing a good overview of the SBA loan program. Again, we focus on Signature Bank. We focus on doing larger loans above 300,000, and we do that primarily through the 7A 504 programs, and help us finance real estate, business acquisitions, and then we also do lines of credit through the Express SBA program. We also do USDA loans, that's another government guaranteed program offered through the federal government. So your questions, next slide, please. Thank you. So probably your most important question is, how do I go about getting an SBA loan, 7A 504, or what do I need to do? How do I get prepared? And Janelle did mention that your first impression, you don't get to go back and do that again. So it's good to use all those resources that you have, ACE, SBDC Center, SCORE chapters, and the SBA website. It's actually full of information. But when you come see us, we would require for you to have a business plan. We require you to have some projections for your business, how you expect to perform for the next 2 years, with the assumptions. How did you arrive at those projections? We'd also require you to have or provide 3 years of personal tax returns, if available, and then 3 years of business tax returns if you've been in business for that long. We do finance startups, so in that case you wouldn't have the 3 years business tax returns, but nevertheless, all those things would apply. We also would ask you to fill out a personal financial statement, and that just tells us about your personal financial status at the time of application. And then if you have a business or you're looking to acquire a business, we'd require the balance sheet and profit and loss. Those are the interim financial statements for said business. If you're looking to purchase a business or you're looking to buy real estate, we'd need the contract and letter or a letter of intent. So those are, again, this is a minimal list, but this would get you started. And would provide the bank sufficient information for us to begin to make a credit determination. Next slide, please. So how do you make application? You please go to our website, or you can email me at mlawson@signaturebankgeorgia.com. You can give me a call, and you can actually apply online at www.signaturebankgeorgia.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, and talking about the work that people can do to be ready to before they pick up the phone or call you, but also knowing that you all are a resource in our community to help answer these questions and get people the resources that they need to start their business and keep running. So Marietta looks ready to go to talk about the resources that ACE provides in our community. And Nell already gave them a shout out. So Maria, I will start advancing these slides and looking forward to the content that you have to share with us. Thanks so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marietta Morton, and I'm a loan officer for ACE, Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs. Caroline, thank you for having me today and Know to Grow Access to Capital. One of our main mission is to give access to capital to underserved communities. Next slide, please. What are the 3 pillars of ACE? We offer capital, we offer coaching, and we offer connections. Capital, we again is going to the underserved community. Coaching, we got many business advisors that not only will prepare you for the loan and to be ready to apply, but also will hold your hand, so to speak, through after the loan is given to you. We have business advisors who are going to be teaching you and making sure that your business scale any growth. And connections, of course, we got connections. If we don't know something, we are going to make sure that you get to the right person. Next, please. We do, like I said, we do offer capital. We do offer technical assistance. We got business support and connections. And connections, actually, we have the SBA. SBAs have been our partners. Next, please. Oh, before I go to the next one, I just want to make sure that we understand that in capital, we got 2 different loans. One is from 50,000 to 50,000, and the other one is the commercial loan that is from 50,000 to $250,000. Next one, please. Also, the SBA has 144 business centers in the United States. We do have 2 here in Georgia. One is here in Atlanta, and the other one is in Savannah. And again, this is tailored to women-owned business owners. And we do have planning, implementation, and growth. If you need to know how, these are the basics. These are for a small business, for startups. We will teach you how to do a balance sheet, how we do cash flow, how to do and put your financials in order to be able to apply for a loan and be successful. Next one, please. This is one of our customers, and one of the things that we are proud of is that sometimes people don't get approved in traditional banks. We do have different programs with different flexibilities to make sure that we are helping the community, and we are putting our mission is our priority. Next one. So how we can secure capital? SBA and Maria did an awesome job talking about how to secure capital. Of course, credit score is important. Your cash flow, your capital investment, how much you're investing in the business, and collateral. Next one. On ACE, our minimum credit score is 600, and we do pull from Equifax. However, we have seen cases that the credit score is not 600 and is lower. And the reason why it's lower is because this particular person had a medical bill and now it's in collections, and because of that, the credit is lower than 600. We do look into the credit report. However, we listen to the person, we listen to the story, we listen to what is beyond a credit score. We don't base our decisions just in a number. We base the decision in the story, what the character of this person is, how is helping the community. So this is just a number. Each person is different and each story is different. Next. Why is important cash flow? Well, it's important because it supplies. So you have liquidity. You tend to make your payments sometimes. You have enough capital for staffing to pay your employees, for inventory, for marketing, for rent. So that is why it's important that we look into cash flow. Next one. So how much do you need for your business? Here is showing 10 to 20%. I have done many loans that we don't require the minimum investment. Example, micro loans up to $50,000, we don't even require a collateral. So we just want to see a little bit skin of the game, but if you're requiring less than $50,000, more than likely you will not require a minimum investment or a collateral. Next one. Here are a few of the collaterals that we do use. Business accent, it can be equipment, vehicles, and real estate. Next. So like I said, we have two types of loans. One is called the small business loan, that is from 50,000 up to 50,000, and this is the one that don't require a collateral. And the commercial loan that is up to $250,000 from 50,000 to $250,000. Next. These are things that you can do or you can use the money for. It can be for working capital if you need to hire new employees, for staffing, for equipment, for real estate, and for vehicles. On the small business loans is up to 72 months. And if it's less than $50,000, the rate is 7.75. Next. And the commercial loan is kind of the same. You can use the fund to buy vehicles, and we can use also to purchase and refinance real estate. This one is shorter than the micro loan. This is up to 60 months instead of 72. It is 7.25. Next. Underwriting. When you have if you apply for a loan for $50,000, we are required to have tax returns and your personal tax returns as well. And if you have a partner that is 20% or over ownership, if they have ownership 20% or over, we do need a person to sign the application as well. The total, we don't, well, I don't want to say we don't, but we prefer to have borrowers, they don't have more than 45% debt to income. Next. Okay, so how to get ready? The main, I'm talking about based on my experience, the main thing that it takes, many people apply for a loan and many people ask me how long does it take? It takes as long as you take to collect all your financials. One of my advice will be keep in track everything that has anything to do with your business, your financial statements, your balance sheet, your profit and loss, all that has to be together in one place. That way, when we request it, you are easily able to give it to us. And so again, 2 years of tax returns showing a positive net income. However, if you are a startup and you have been in business for more than 2 years, we do understand that a new business doesn't produce a positive net income. So what we do is we do a extensive look into your financials to see, okay, why you didn't have any positive net income this year. Is because you bought a car or because you invested on a new real estate, or did you make a big purchase or you pay a big loan. So we do look into why the reasons why the income was negative for the year, and we proceed with the process. One important thing that I would like to encourage you to keep in mind is to have a lawyer with your business. Always have a lawyer that can give you professional advice, have a bookkeeper, and do have a tax accountant. Next. We are not currently funding startups, but we do have Liz Pond and Wood Forest National Bank. They do, and the Cobb County Community Development and Small Business Loan Programs. Those are resources that can help you if you are starting a new business. Next. So the way they contacting us is you can call us, you can email. We are in Facebook, we are in LinkedIn. And to apply, the only thing that you have to do is just go to www.aceloans.org, and that way you can apply for a loan. Up next, I think it's the last one. And it's it. Thank you,
So
Caroline.
Marietta, thank you so much for sharing all of that really great info. Available more than just some loan programs, some really creative things happening at ACE, and the Women's Business Center is a great resource that we're really lucky to have here in Atlanta.
I just want to add that our executive director was named the national director for last 2021. So I'm very proud of
I mean,
her.
that really just goes to show like what an amazing asset we
Yes.
have in our community, right?
Exactly.
So we do have one question in the chat so far, and I will encourage our other attendees to please put your questions in the chat. This is a great time to get your questions answered, whatever they may be. So while we have this great set of speakers here today, please share your questions. The one we have right now is for you, Marietta. So will you, I'm not sure if you can see it, so, and I'll read it out for everybody. But will you help persons that have a loan with ACE to grow their business when employees are difficult to find? And what if the approval is lower than the business costs? What then happens to?
Okay, let me see if I understand this. Will you help persons that have a loan to grow their business when employees?
So I guess the question might be asking, does ACE do any maybe workforce programs? And I'm not sure if ACE provides that resource, but I will say that there is WorkSource Fulton that can absolutely help people locate employees. The Georgia Department of Labor can help locate employees. And there are a lot of opportunities to train and upskill your current workforce. So that might be useful to the person who wrote that question. And happy to.
The other ones, it says, what if the approval is lower than the business cost? I think this one is when you have a loan and this loan is not enough to support the operations. Let's say you think that in a year you're going to be running your business in a sustainable way, but maybe you did have an amount that is not enough for another year. We do modifications on the loans. We do look into how, since you are a business owner or a customer of us, we look into how your business is doing, and we do modifications. And if you need more money, we are willing to make the assess how your business is doing, and we do modifications to give you extra money if you need it.
Thanks so much for providing that clarification. Janelle, we have a question for you as well. You mentioned that federal contracts are usually looking for people who have a few local or state contracts under their belt already. So what resources are available to find local contracts, local and state contracts for bid?
I would advise you to reach out to the Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center, GTPAC.org. They can help you navigate and identify local opportunities, say at a city level. Because look at it this way, there's 159 counties in Georgia. So you would have to come up with a government contracting strategy. Now, each county has at least 2 or 3 cities in it. So each one of those cities has its own procurement department. So you have to go and register to do business with that particular city. And then you have to register with that county to do business. That's really how you develop your government contracting strategy. So identify the areas that you want to work, and you have to literally individually contact those cities and those counties, those municipalities. That's what you have to do at a state level, excuse me, at a city level, city and county level. Now, state, you need to go to Georgia Marketplace. They make it easy for you at a state level for all of the state, contracting agencies. The Georgia Marketplace, that's where you have to register your business in, and then you can apply for contracts in that one place.
Thanks so much for sharing those additional resources. In the follow-up email that I will send to everyone with the slides from today, I will include links to those resources that Janelle just mentioned. And once again, there will be a very short 2-minute survey link that it would help us out a lot if you can take that. And please share ideas for future webinars or other topics that you all would find useful. So if government contracting is something that enough people find useful, we can absolutely build a webinar around that. We have another question for Marietta. Thanks for coming back on again. So it says, we are just over a year in business and looking to purchase a cargo van 100% to use for the business. Would the ACE commercial loan be a good fit for this?
Well, it depends how much the cargo van is for. But we do, in this case, what we do is we reduce the cargo van as a collateral. So more than likely this ACE would be a good commercial loan for this, yes.
Thanks so much. So just some of the things that I heard today, that first impression really matters, and making sure that you are prepared when applying for a loan or one of these programs. So I'll ask our presenters if any of you have examples of maybe common mistakes that you have seen with applicants, or things that people maybe didn't think of or weren't prepared for, just some common theme that comes to mind that could really help our attendees today set themselves up for success when they're ready and starting to apply for a loan. So I'll let whoever wants to take that first.
I will go first, and I will say that the most important thing is to work with an accountant, a CPA, knowing exactly where your business is, and when you apply, knowing how much money you need, because you don't want to ask for too much, or you don't want to ask for too little that you handicap not only you but your business. So we want to make sure that the help that we're giving you is utilized the most effective way. So make sure that you know what the money is for, and not only ask for 3 or 6 months. Think big, do your vision 1 year. Otherwise, your money runs out in 6 months and that's it. So we make sure that you understand how this will work.
That's really
Yeah,
helpful.
I
Thank
would
you.
definitely co-sign Marietta's sentiments. I was going to say something similar.
A little loan humor
A
there,
little
co-signing.
research goes a long way. So make sure you do your homework ahead of time before coming to the table.
That's really helpful. Janelle, we do have a question for you. If doing a startup, is the 7A or 504 program a better option for loans over $350,000?
Yes, the 7A and the 504 is definitely for larger amounts. That's what they're designed for. So the micro loan and the community advantage loans are for the lower dollar amounts, for sure.
Yes.
And one of the things I would also say is understand that, when you apply for financing, it's not like, you're applying for a credit card where you just, submit your information and you just get back a yes or a no. Your business plan and your business approach really is going to dictate whether or not you get the loan approval. So to Marietta's point in regards to make sure you have an accountant, make sure you know the exact dollar amount that you need coming through the door, because it shows that you are business savvy when you actually have those questions answered ahead of time. And that builds confidence in your lender to actually administer the loan.
I agree. I'm also follow that up with look at your competition and see how you're different. How are you going to differentiate yourself from your competition? And that'll kind of give us more of a warm and fuzzy as you've looked at everything. You've looked at how you're going to exceed in your line of business. Also, how your personal skills will add to the success of the business. So a resume that shows your transferable skills if you're starting a new business, because we do lend to business startups. That's very helpful when you are going into a new venture. Also, make sure that you're ready for it, that your credit shows in your financial, health is ready to undertake you going into a new venture. That's important as well.
Thank you for that. I'm not seeing any additional questions, so I'll just transition to making a few closing announcements. And first, just really want to thank all of our presenters for being here today, for sharing your industry expertise and this information. This is so valuable to our existing business community, to our residents, and to new businesses who are looking to start up. So thank you so much for sharing all of this information. To our attendees, once again, these slides will be sent to you later today along with a 2-minute survey. You take that. The feedback really helps us improve this program. And there's also space to share topics that are important to you so that we make sure that this program is tailored to your needs, to the needs of our business community. So please take that survey. If you have any questions, the contact info is in the slide deck for each of our speakers. You can also reach out to me directly. And please sign up for our Select Sandy Springs newsletter. That link will be in the email as well. And that way you won't miss any future announcements of future dates for the Know and Grow program. So the next one is to be announced, but look out for that about 2 months from now. And again, just thank you everyone so much for attending, and we'll give you 4 minutes back in your day. But thank you all so much for being here, and please reach out if there is anything that I can do or our department, our economic development department can do to help your business succeed in Sandy Springs. Thanks everyone, and have a good Tuesday.